What's going on, faithfuls? It's your boy Nick and your boy Mike over here, and you're listening to the Nothing But Niners YouTube live stream. Guys, we are down to 53, man. 4 o'clock has came and gone on the East Coast, and 1 o'clock on the West Coast has came and gone. Some surprise cuts, some not so surprising, some hiding people on the IR. But, man, we got our 53 set, and 14 undrafted free agents make this team. Wow. So, Mike, man, what's going on, buddy?
Listen, man, I just want to apologize to the faithfuls. I'm not really going to apologize. I'm out. I'm having a good time. I'm with family right now. I'm in Delaware, all right, on the grill, okay? But I'm happy, man. I want to talk about this 53-man roster so bad. 14 undrafted free agents made this team. 14 undrafted guys.
That's 26% of the roster.
That's insane. No, that's more than – there's no way. There's no way. That's crazy. That is crazy, man. I don't think I've ever heard that many undrafted guys making a team. That means that these guys weren't good enough to get drafted and they're on that roster. Should we be worried about that?
I think the only one that didn't make the team was Cole Hicatini, and I'm sure he's going to get. But we'll talk about him once we get to tight ends.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, just some quick highlights. Only 2 quarterbacks. I think a lot of people saw that coming. 3 running backs. I think a lot of people were conflicted on that because, a lot of people thought that there was room for 4. But there's a reason why we only ended up keeping 3. 1 fullback. Most people expected that. We got 3 tight ends. How many wide receivers did we keep? 5 or 6?
6.
Got 6 of them, 6 wide receivers. Then the offensive linemen, I mean, I think we got everybody we expected to keep. Honestly, I was looking a little shaky for Fusco for a second there, but it seems like he made the cut, so that's a good thing, right?
Yep.
And then let me see if I can get to the other – what was that? Let me see if I can get to the other page really quick. Zane Beadles held on. He held his ground. That was pretty cool to see. One offensive lineman that I'm not happy to see, and I know we're not there yet, but that's Gary Gilliam. I've said it over and over how much I dislike that guy, but whatever. He's here. You know what I mean? The defensive line, some surprise to talk about in there, man. Definitely some surprise to talk about in the defensive line. So instead of going through them all position by position, let's go ahead and start talking about this from the beginning, man. I guess we should just start with the quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, definitely. And this was a surprise for me.
Were you one of the people that thought we were going to keep 3 of them?
I did. I thought we were going to keep 3. I wasn't comfortable with going with Brian Hoyer and his injuries and then having him backed up by a rookie who has not looked good the last 2 games. So I was surprised. I thought Barkley was still going to make this team.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it's one thing to have a good guy that you're confident in. That's who Brian Hoyer is. I think a lot of people are confident in him, especially after the Vikings game. It instilled a lot of confidence in us. The fact remains, this guy has not finished 16 games anywhere he has ever been, ever. And so when you have a situation like that, you don't want to have a backup who's a rookie. I mean, come on. I can't tell you a lot of rookies that stepped in right away and were successful. It's far few in between. I mean, there are rookies who get thrown right into the fire, but it's gonna be rough. Hopefully, Brian Hoyer can make it at least 6 weeks before we have to call on C.J. Beathard. But here's my question to you: if he does get injured, all right, let's say he's out for 2 weeks, what free agent quarterback do you think we're going to go after? Do you think we call Barkley right back up?
Probably. That's probably what the case is. If he doesn't sign somewhere else, not saying that he will or he won't. He didn't really. They didn't really showcase him this year. They didn't really showcase him with the preseason game. So maybe that's why. Maybe they just didn't want to give any more tape out on him. And if something happens to Hoyer, they're going to re-sign him. But Ali's joining us. What's going on, Ali?
How's it going, fellas?
What's going on, buddy? Look all fresh at work.
I can't wait to get off and just dig a little deeper into what's going on here.
Yeah, man, it's an exciting.
My man's got his hair slicked back. Hold on, we're not just gonna step all over this. Ali's got his hair slicked back and everything. Check my man out, man. I see you, baby. Okay.
And he's not lit, so we're all good. Hey, we got a lot of guys in here watching right now. We got about 10 to 12 guys watching right now, but man, there's definitely some questions going on in there.
Ali, man, I want to know, are you comfortable with just having 2 quarterbacks on the roster right now, man?
I am, man. I definitely am. I predicted it when we did our 53. I said I knew that Matt Barkley wasn't going to make this team, and I'm completely okay with it. Brian Hoyer is the guy. If he goes down, we're in serious trouble. We're just going to call a spade. But I am definitely okay with the two QBs there. I do not see a problem with it.
I think you and I both agreed, and I think even Nick agreed. We all agreed that Matt Barkley lost that backup position. I think all three of us can agree on that. What we were surprised about is the fact that this team is comfortable going forward with a rookie as your only reserve quarterback. That's crazy, because that means that both of them are going to suit up on game day. Who's going to be the emergency quarterback? Who do we have? Did Blake Bell make the team? No,
Nope.
He didn't. So who's the emergency quarterback in this situation? Who played quarterback in college or high school? We got to figure this out. Well, I guess we'll get into that when we start talking about the rest of this depth down there.
Yeah, but we all kind of knew what was going to happen with that quarterback position. So we all kind of figured with the running back situation, we figured 3 or 4. But nobody had Raheem Mostert making this team.
That's not true. That's not true, man. Come on now. Raheem Mostert.
Hey, until last game, you did not have Raheem Mostert making this team.
That's true. And I think his last 2 games, he looked pretty good. And I think that we all thought that, for the people that were holding out hope, and this is not a dig at you, don't get me wrong, but for the people who were holding out hope for someone like Tim Hightower, I think that him and Raheem Mostert were kind of the ones battling for that 4th running back spot if we were going to keep 4. I think everyone agreed on the top 3. You know what I mean? I think everyone agreed on the top 3. But if we were going to go with,
we don't even have the top 3.
Well, we don't have the top 3 because of an IR.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
IR.
Yeah, and so that's a little suspicious. That's a little funny. So I think everyone else had Carlos Hyde, Matt Breida is number 2, and Joe Williams is number 4. That IR surprised me. It came out of nowhere. An ankle injury where he can't play for the entire season? Come on, bro. This is some Trent Baalke stuff right here.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I'm super excited. I'm super excited about the running backs that we do have. I'm super excited to see this offense get going. We did keep 6 receivers. Let's just introduce Croc real quick. Croc, what's going on, buddy? Once you're ready, just let us know. So does anybody else have anything about the running backs? Ali?
I mean, the only other before Ali jumps in there really quick, I think we all really like Matt Breida. So let's ask the elephant in the room to the guys. I just want to get you guys' opinion on this. Will Matt Breida eventually surpass Carlos Hyde as the number 1 back on the roster?
Is that for Ali?
That was for everybody. Everybody.
I personally don't see it as of yet. I haven't seen enough out of Breida to say that he will eventually surpass Hyde there. Hyde's going to be the bell cow of this backfield without question. He is, for anybody playing fantasy football, if you're looking for a fantasy guy for running back and you're drafting early, take fucking Carlos Hyde. He is a number 1 back that is going to be the feature back of this team. And he should eat in this offense. This is Hyde's backfield right now. Mostert and Breida will come in on certain packages and certain downs, but this is Carlos Hyde's team. That's what this roster cuts definitely showed, and also with Juszczyk will be a huge factor in this backfield as well. So very, very, very surprised the little trick they pulled with putting Williams on IR. Obviously, you guys, I was one of the people who say that I thought Williams was going to make the team and that he was someone that would look forward to contributing this year, but they saw it like you guys saw it, where he wasn't ready. He wasn't adapting to the zone running back scheme. He wasn't finding the right. He just wasn't bringing it to the table. So a really savvy little move there to throw him on IR, season-ending IR with an ankle injury. But to be honest, not to make this too long-winded, I just want to know what your guys' thoughts are on the running back situation as well, and what Are we done? Is this 53 roster complete, or are we going to make some trades? Are we going to sign somebody out of waivers? What do you guys think there?
Yeah, we'll talk about that, but I want to finish the positions first, and then we'll get into that. But just want to run through these positions real quick. So, I think that as big of a Hightower fan as I was to making this team, obviously because I wanted free drinks, but they did pick the best 53 here. So, it kind of scares me about them stashing Williams because I don't know what that really is about. But other than that, I think Raheem Mostert definitely got this team, definitely made this team by playing well. And I also believe that Breida will be our, a go-to guy, kind of like lining up on the outside as well, like a David Johnson type guy, lining up for passes and stuff out in the receiver position as well. So I agree with what we have with the 3 running backs and Kyle Juszczyk, obviously. So, Croc, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, guys?
What's going on, man?
My take on the running back thing, I don't know. I thought Joe Williams ran pretty well. Anytime he got, a significant amount of carries, in both games, I know even in the last game he averaged almost 6 yards a carry. In the first game, he had some, nice big explosive runs, a few of those. I thought he looked, pretty good in the scheme. So far from what I've seen, it looks like everybody fits in the scheme more so than Carlos Hyde right now. Maybe that can change. I think, Hyde, just off of who he is and the talent that everybody knows he has. Let me switch the camera. Just off of who he is and the talent that everybody knows he has, I think, obviously he's going to get more of the carries right now, but I think, he misses a lot. To me, it looks like he misses some of the cutbacks. He makes some runs harder than what it should be. I know I posted one in the group where I was like, man, like there was a big lane and just the way that he ran, even the way he took the handoff, he damn near from the handoff made it to where he wouldn't even be able to get to that cutback lane. I think even on that run, that was like his longest run of the game. It was like 7 yards. And if he would have hit that cutback lane, I mean, I think that would have been a positive 10 plus, yard run. And those are the things that he's missing. And to me, he missed on a consistent basis. I think that's something maybe, throughout the year he gets more comfortable and he starts hitting those things when he gets more carries and more of a rhythm. But I like Breida. I mean, him and Joe Williams, they're fast guys. Breida runs really strong. Even when something's not there, it seems like he's always falling forward. And like I said before, running back is one of those positions where it doesn't matter where you're drafted. If you have talent, you can get plugged right in and you can do well. You've seen a lot of guys come in as rookies, undrafted guys, 3rd round, 4th round. It really doesn't matter. If you have the talent and you understand how to run and you fit the scheme, you can do well. And I think Breida's one of those guys.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. What do you think, Mike?
I agree with everything that Croc said. Hold on. Okay, you want to say it now? Go ahead.
49er. Niners.
Yeah.
All right, baby. Okay, go have fun. Okay. All right, but what I want to say was I agree with everything Croc said, especially with Carlos Hyde making a lot of this stuff harder than it has to be. That was the premise of my question. It was because Breida didn't seem to be so inconsistent. Breida would hit the hole and hit it consistently and go. Whether it was the wrong hole or the right hole, the best hole or not, he would hit it and go and commit to it. And like you said, always falling forward. It seems like there was no second guessing once he committed to a hole. Like, that's where he was going to go. And so that's why I asked if he was going to surpass Carlos Hyde. But at the same time, I do remember Shanahan saying that, I only use multiple backs because I have to, that I'm not afraid to have a bell cow 3-down back. That's what it dictated in Washington when I was there. But when we came over here to Atlanta, it was more about a product of the accumulation of the different running backs that they had there. So do these 3 running backs mean that we're going to see a predominant one run back type of thing and then just someone to come in and spell him when he's tired? Or do you think that they're 2 different running backs with 2 different scheme sets? Because Breida was very impressive. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I really, really like Breida. And like Croc said, man, it doesn't matter where you're drafted in that position, especially with Bobby Turner at the helm. These guys are going to perform to the maximum ability. I really, really like what I saw from this young man, Breida. For someone to be, for his athletic numbers. When you look at everything that he did, I know he didn't go to the combine, but what he did at school, he was one of the best running backs in all the categories there for everything that he tested out at. You would expect someone like him and his size to be like a scat back guy, like a shifty running back guy, but he was lowering his shoulder. He was trucking people. I mean, I was thoroughly impressed with what I saw. They definitely kept the best running backs. And I just want to know what you guys think that meant. That's why I asked that question.
He has that burst as well. I mean, he has a, like, I mean, when I say burst, Hyde has a burst. Hyde has a good burst. But I mean that burst to really hit a hole and probably, possibly take it the distance. I think that's the difference. I compare it to like the Cowboys situation. Anybody can run behind that offensive line, but not everybody has that potential to break that big one almost every time he carries the ball, like Ezekiel Elliott. Same thing here with Hyde, who's good, and he has a good initial burst, but Breida has that long distance, and I think the more carries we see him get, I think you'll start seeing him break off some of those long runs, and he's quick, he's shifty, and I mean 4.39 speed, that's dangerous. And I think Shanahan, he's gonna get and the running back coach, they're gonna get the most out of him with that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything you guys said. I don't think Breida takes over this year, obviously, but I also do think that he's gonna make Hyde play well this year because of it being a contract year if he wants to return to San Francisco. So I understand where Ali's coming from as well, but I also understand where Croc's coming from because Hyde did miss a lot of cutbacks of open lanes. So what's up, Croc?
There's one last thing I want to touch on. I'm not sure if anybody said anything because I joined a little late, but one thing we are kind of leaving out is like pass protection. Like, I don't know if Breida is a good, pass blocker, if he's going to, pick up blitzes, if he understands that. And that's where Hyde might, really have the edge right now, more so than just him being Carlos Hyde, picking up blitzes and things like that. I haven't paid attention all that much, but I haven't seen that be a problem with Hyde at all throughout his career. And I'm not sure if Breida is, ready for those type of responsibilities. We saw just in the preseason game when one of our quarterbacks got sacked, and you see Hightower just go straight up the middle, and we let that free guy come off the edge and sack Beathard. Maybe that's something that Carlos Hyde picks up, that guy coming off the edge. We saw Cook do that for Bradford in the game against us. I don't know if Breida is that guy yet. So that could really, be the difference right there.
Right. Yeah, no, me and Mike had talked about that the other night, saying not sure if that was Hightower's responsibility to go up the middle or if his guy was on the outside. So we don't really know what the scheme was there.
I think that's more on quarterbacks. Quarterbacks, and that's why another reason why you got a young guy like Beathard, you might be hesitant to just throw him or label him the starter. You pass protection, that's part of the things that they check on. A lot of times it's either the quarterback or the center. If you have a really good center, he'll call out all the the protections and, hey, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. But a lot of times you want your quarterback to do that. Hey, we need to slide protect left, and then maybe the running back come here. Or, the quarterback has to put guys in the right protection so that he can run a play effectively. A lot of times the running back just not gonna know. Sometimes, maybe they might, but I don't see that a lot.
I mean, I could sit here and say that we all agree on the running backs and the choices that we chose for running backs, but I don't want to spend too much more time on the running backs. I think we're set there. I think we all can agree that what we have right now is the best that we're on the 53-man roster. But man, we got to talk about these receivers real quick, because receivers, I'm just going to go over who we carried or who we brought over. So we brought Garcon, Goodwin, Robinson. Those were 3 locks that we all thought, right? We all can agree on that?
Right.
Okay. So, but the next 3 as well, he was a 4th one that we thought that would make this team. But the next 2, Kendrick Bourne and Victor Bolden Jr., and Jeremy Curley is cut. Some of us on our team predicted that. Some of us didn't. I definitely didn't. As big of a Trent Taylor fan as I am, I did not see this coming. I really did not believe that Jeremy Curley was going to get cut. I personally did not see it. Ready for some toe tapping Trent. So, Mike, what's your thoughts, man, on the receivers that we're carrying?
Yeah, so here's the thing. I mean, I got the I like everything here, and I think that I was pretty much in lock with everything. Here's the difference. I didn't think that we were going to keep Bolden and Bourne. I thought it was going to come down between a decision between the two of them, with Curley making the roster and then choosing from one of those two guys. The fact that we were willing to move on, this is what I will say. I started thinking about something earlier today before the cuts happened. I saw Pierre Garçon line up in the slot a lot. So that showed me some depth. You know what I mean? We didn't have to keep Kendrick. We didn't have to keep Taylor. We didn't have to keep Curley, as well as Garçon, three guys who can play the slot. So if something happens to one of those guys, we can throw Garçon over there in the slot. You know what I mean? Similar to how the 49ers previously used Anquan Bolden. And then we could put Kendrick Bourne on the outside if we have to. You know what I mean? We have some bigger guys. Aldrick Robinson can go over there with Marquise Goodwin. It's enough depth over there and versatility where these guys can move around. And so that was the only difference that I saw. But let me tell you, man, compared to what we had last year, I'm not going to lie. I love this wide receiving core. I really, really like what's going to happen with this team this year, man. I can't wait to see 3 or hell, even 4. I can't wait to see our first 4 wide receiver set coming out of this team. It's just going to be so much speed, talent, and shiftiness that it's going to be pretty incredible.
Yeah, definitely. Ali, real quick, what do you think about the receivers?
I'm loving the group. If I'm not mistaken, I think we predicted all of it except Curley. In my first 53, I predicted that Curley wouldn't make it. Then I put him on. But very surprising that he got cut. What was that?
I have no idea.
What was that?
My brother's a Florida Gator fan. My bad. I don't know what happened.
That completely.
What is going on?
I'm like, oh man.
I don't even know what I was saying. What were we talking about? The receivers. Loving the crew. Yeah, let's go. I don't even know. I know I'm completely thrown off right now.
All right, yeah. So we're talking about the receivers. I'm good with the receivers that we have. I didn't think that I'm with Mike. I didn't think Bourne and Bolden Jr. were both going to make this team because obviously I had Curley making the team as well. Just real quick, Eric, what do you think? You think those 6 were the best guys and we got the 6 best guys? And was the cut of Curley surprising to you or it wasn't?
I know I had posted in the group chat who I would keep, and the guys that I said I would keep, that was like a couple weeks ago or whatever, and I said I would keep Garçon, Robinson, Goodwin, Taylor, Bourne, and Bolden, and that's who we kept. So I didn't think that they would necessarily cut Curley. I just know I remember asking the question on Twitter. Can Robinson play in the slot? But now we see, seeing the Vikings and Bolden play a lot in the slot. I mean, Bolden. Garçon. I like it. I like it. I like the versatility of it. And the bigger thing with that to me is, do you think that you can develop Bolden and Bourne? Because if you can develop Bourne and Bolden and have those guys some pretty legit targets down the line, that there goes your Goodwin for years to come. There goes your your Garçon for years to go with. But only thing about Bourne, man, he had a case of the drops a little bit. Seen him drop some passes. But aside from that, those dudes have talent, and you got next year to kind of build on that. Maybe draft a guy higher or whatever. But I like the group that they chose, and I like the Curley. To me, he lacks that explosive burst. And I think Taylor, we've seen him as somebody that just gets open a little bit more than Curley. And then when they started having Taylor back there for punt returns, like, I know Curley was back there like the first one, and then after that they had Taylor back there, and he was, picking up solid yardage, and I was like, yeah, he might be on his way out. They didn't feature him at all. I mean, he got maybe 1 target per game, and I don't even think he got any catches. I'm not surprised at all with the Curley cut, and I'm really excited with what we have. I still think we're missing that true number one bailout type guy where you can just throw the ball up to and he's going to bail you out consistently. But for what Shanahan is, as far as his mental aspect of the game, I think we're going to be just fine with the guys that we have.
Now, see, I disagree about that number one though, because I think Garcon or Goodwin give you that because of their speed. They're going to take another player over the top or to cover those, and it's going to open up that underneath stuff. But I mean, number ones are somebody that needs double team coverage normally, right? As well as
I'm a little bit worried about our number 3 wide receiver, Aldrick Robinson.
Why?
I don't know if he's a solid number 3 as that other teams have in the league. I think I'm not sold on him. I don't know. I think we could definitely upgrade that position with a different receiver. I don't know. I'm not sold on Aldrick Robinson.
Really, number 3 might be the tight end. You know what I'm saying? Kittle might be the third option. And then you have Robinson and you have Taylor. And if Taylor, continues to kind of look at like what we've seen him get open. I want to say it seems like every pass that's thrown to him, he caught it in the preseason. He might be your number 3 guy, and Robinson just kind of played the same role as he did in Atlanta. Kind of be that 4th guy, 5th guy, come up with big plays. He killed the Niners. He can kind of be that guy, but for the most part, I wouldn't put too much emphasis on him being the number 3 guy because I do like Taylor, and I do see us really using Kittle a lot.
Right. I think that Aldrick Robinson, if y'all don't mind me chiming in real quick, I think Aldrick Robinson is actually going to be. You guys are trying to assign numbers, but I think he's definitely the number 4. But what his job is, you have to remember that over there in Atlanta, he was what, number 4 also. But when Julio Jones went down, he went to the number 1 spot. And I think that's what he's going to be. It's more about him being there when someone needs to come out and they're competent enough to run as that number 1 guy. You know what I mean? A lot of people ignore the fact that when Julio Jones is out, Aldrick Robinson was the one shifted there to that number 1 spot, to the X wide receiver. So I think that's how they're going to use him over here as well.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But all right, so we all agree on the receivers. So let's just go through the tight ends real quick. We traded Vance McDonald. I don't think it's any surprise to Kittle, Paulson, and who was the third one we kept?
Selleck.
Selleck. Yeah, Selleck. Bell was cut. Yeah, Selleck.
Okay.
Selleck. Bell was cut. I'm just trying to think there. So there's no surprises there for me. I thought that's probably who it would have been if Vance got traded. I knew that Kittle, I said Cole Hicatini's probably a little surprise to me, but I think he makes the practice squad. But, I mean, he's a surprise to me because of the guaranteed money they gave him. So, but other than that, I'm fine with the tight ends. What you think, Rock?
Yeah, I think Selleck's been pretty decent. We don't have that big name guy, but maybe they feel like the rookie can be that guy that from what they say his strengths were at Iowa and his ability. I think Kittle. I think he can be he can be solid. He can be a solid tight end.
And we got to sit here and think about it too, because Juszczyk could line up as a tight end as well. So right. I think we have that depth there. So all right, cool. Yeah. So Ali, what's your thoughts?
I think really excited to see Kittle as the number 1 featured tight end in this group. I think the sky is the ceiling for him. I think he could have a very productive year. I like Logan Paulson. What he does, what he brings to this team. He knows his role, and he will contribute at that well. I guess Shanahan and Lynch must have been really happy with what they saw in training camp, because we didn't see a lot of him in preseason, but they must have been really happy with what they saw in training camp, and they must be able to see and designate a role for him. I also wouldn't take out the fact that they were looking to move Selleck, so maybe there is a trade in the works for him. There's nothing that that has been thing, but someone did tweet that out. I think it was Lockett4 tweeted that out yesterday. So I'm happy with it. It's what we expected. No surprises really. After McDonald was traded. So what do you think there, Mike?
All right, so I mean, I think that there's something that we should be reading into when it comes to Garrett Selleck making the squad, because we didn't see Garrett Selleck do much of anything during preseason. So I'm sorry if I cut anybody off. I couldn't hear anybody speaking, so that's why I jumped in where I did. But we didn't see Garrett Selleck doing much of anything, and so that's kind of alarming that he was actually able to make the roster cuts. Honestly, if you told me that there were going to be 3 guys that we kept and Logan Paulson was going to be one of them, it definitely would have been Hicatini, Paulson, and Kittle. I meant to say Kittle. Sorry about that. But only because of the youth movement, with Vance McDonald being traded and Blake Bell not doing too much of anything during practice, those were the ones that I would have bet money on, or maybe even been surprised to see Kyle Juszczyk listed as a tight end. But I never would have guessed Garrett Selleck being making this roster. So it's going to be interesting to see what the real plan is for him. Maybe there was, like Ali said, maybe there was some legit trade interest, and that's why they're holding on to him, because they knew that someone's going to scoop him up right away. Maybe they feel like they're kind of holding someone's fire to the feet. I don't know, feet to the fire. I'm not really sure what to make of it, but that's my logic on it right there. I mean, anybody else want to chime in on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree, Mike. I agree. Guys, I'm gonna have to jump out of here. Mike, can you see the stop broadcast or no?
I do not see stop broadcast on here. However, I have end call. I mean, no, it doesn't even say end call. It's just the hang up button on there.
All right. Well, let's yeah. So I gotta jump out of here, but
are you leaving, or do you have to step away? Because if you have to step away, just let it run and then come back in like 10 or 15 minutes.
No, I got to take off. Wasn't planning on going this long, but that's my bad. But
it's all good, man. I mean, listen, guys. Can you do 3 more minutes? Because I do want to talk about a couple of surprise cuts.
Yeah.
All right. So really quick, I mean, I'm going to throw it to you guys, but I want to say my one surprise cut was Quentin Dial. Under no circumstances did I see him getting cut. Traded, maybe, yes, but cut, absolutely not. That was my big thing, and I'm dying to get Croc's opinion on what he thought about the corners that we kept. So if you could touch on that really quick, and maybe if you have another surprise cut, I would love to hear that. But when it comes to Quentin Dial, I did not expect to see him just flat out get cut. I think he's a veteran in the league, someone who is well respected in the league, and he does a job well. Maybe this 4-3 just wasn't a fit for him, but I definitely expected him to be able to try to move him to someone else, maybe Minnesota, or maybe not Minnesota, Chicago, or even Washington. Yeah, where he's got familiarity with Vic Fangio and even Jim Tomsula. But I didn't expect to see him just flat out cut. That was my surprise. Croc, what you got for us, man? Anything in that situation?
The dial thing, that definitely was surprising to me. But to touch on the defensive backs, I expected everything, but I did think that maybe Asa Jackson won that that 5th spot or whatever. We really didn't see much out of Reeser. I'm not as hard on him as other people that I've seen, but I will say, if I had to choose Asa Jackson or Reeser, I'd have picked Asa Jackson just off of that last game. We saw how versatile he is. We saw him do well on the outside against the Vikings. He was the first person in the slot, so he plays outside, he plays slot, and then we saw him do well on special teams. I saw him do well in all the coverages, cover 2, cover 3. Man, he did well enough. I know he had a tough outing against the Broncos, but since then, I mean, he played well, and I'm kind of surprised to see, Reeser beat him out. But again, I'm not as hard on Reeser as other people. But that was kind of my, wow, kind of moment.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, man. What about you, Ali? I'm dying to know if there was anything that you saw that you maybe thought, whatever about.
The number one player that stood out to me was actually released yesterday, and that was our 3rd round pick, Will Redmond. Now, this is someone that you'd would have expected to come in here this offseason. He was built up a bit, someone to come in and contribute. This guy brought jack shit to the table. He didn't he didn't show up. I don't know what he did this offseason. I have no idea. He had a whole season last year to repair from that ACL. Very, very disappointed in Will Redmond. Very surprised he got cut. I was shocked. That was one, and he was an early cut too, which means this coaching staff made up their mind on him early in the process. They took a look. They're like, you know what? Redmond has not brought anything in camp. He's not brought anything in mini camp. He hasn't brought anything in preseason. He's had an inability to stay healthy. Bye, Felicia. That's my take.
Yeah, basically. Hell yeah, man. That's exactly what it was, man. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
did you have?
I wanted to see Will Redmond make this team, because you guys remember from draft day, I was like, man, I'm excited to see what Will Redmond has. But well, here comes that word again, Dookie.
Yeah, absolutely. It's put up or shut up, man. That's one thing I do like about.
Now that's Dookie. Now he's Dookie. At Witherspoon, I ain't gonna call you Dookie.
No.
Redmond, he's Dookie.
Reeser's Dookie, and Redmond's definitely Dookie.
I tell you what, though, man. Listen, this is the one thing I love about this team, man. And I know we got to wrap this up, but the one thing I love about this is that they're keeping the best players. There's no ties to anybody except for the draft guys that they brought in. Of the guys that they brought in actually made the roster? That's what I was going to ask. Did anybody check that? Because even Peter made the roster. DJ Jones made the roster. Did all of the picks actually make the roster this year?
Colbert, he made it.
Colbert made it.
Right.
Yeah, I think.
And right now, and one thing I will say about this, guys, and this will be the last thing I say about it, the rosters aren't set. They have their guys, but now they're looking at all the waivers and people going on waiver claims and all that, yada yada yada, and they're gonna look. And if they see a few people that they want to go after, there will be some people that we be like, that you guys wonder, like, oh, I'm surprised this guy made it. Dude, that dude might be out of here. And I've seen it. I've been in that situation.
Yeah.
I made the initial wave because it happens. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll be completely honest with you. This is the last thing I want to say, man. As much as I love him, I was surprised that he made the final cut, and that's my defensive lineman, man, Ronald Blair. He got the broken hand. We didn't get a chance to see him, the last 2 games, I think it was. I was really surprised to see him make the final cut. And if they see somebody out there that they want, like Croc just said, he might be one of the first ones gone. You know what I mean? So I was really surprised by that, but I'm happy that he made the cut, hoping that we can finish this thing strong, man. And, I mean, on that note, I'm done, Nick. I mean, we'll talk more about it later, but I'm done right now.
Yeah, I mean, all draft picks made the team. Well, I don't know. Joe Williams didn't really make the team because he's on IR. He's not even on the 53. But, yes, they all made the team. You're on
Joe Williams count. He's not on another roster. He's not a free agent. It
right.
count.
Yeah, no, he didn't get cut. Yeah, no, I understand. But, I mean, this roster pretty much shaped up how people thought it was going to. Like I said, the only real surprise to me was Jeremy Curley. Quentin Dial wasn't a surprise to be off the 53, but I thought that we would have traded him and got something for him as well. Surprised that made the team. Keith Reeser was one of my surprises that made
Keith
the team.
Reeser, Brock Coyle, Ronald Blair.
Well, Brock Coyle's a special team ace, man.
Yeah.
So that's why he makes it.
Gary Gilliam.
Yeah. Well, you need offensive line depth, man. We couldn't cut all the offensive line. So that asked me just one quick question. I got one more question for you guys, and then I got to get out of here before my old lady cuts my head off. So, Alex Boone was released today. I know he's made a lot of comments about leaving, but this is just a question. I'm not saying that I would take him or I wouldn't take him. I put this out on our Twitter handle, but would you sign him or no? Just say yes or no. That's all we need. Mike.
I'll go first. I'm going to say yes, but only because he's a beast in run blocking. That's the only reason.
Croc, what do you think?
I'm gonna say yes because I'm an attitude guy, and I think he brings it. You need some of those guys on your team. He brings that attitude, so I'm gonna say yes as well.
I just don't know if he burnt his bridges with the front offices, with Jed York and stuff like that, by what he said last year.
None of them are here. He talked trash about Jim Harbaugh. He talked trash about Trent Baalke. All of them are gone. All of them are gone.
But he definitely is an upgrade for us at guard right now, in that type run scheme too as well. So because they run that at Minnesota as well. So all right, so we got 2 yeses. I don't know where Ali went, but yeah, guys. John Lynch said he was asked what picks kept him up last night, and he said all of them. That's a good position to have, man. Good position to have. I think we're going well. I think like Croc said, there's going to be some guys that are on this team right now that aren't going to be on this team if we pick up for waiver wire, or even some more possible trades possibly. So I don't have anything else. Croc, you got anything else? No? Mike, you got anything else?
Yeah, just one more thing, man. And like you said, John said that, all of them kept him up at last night. But one thing I do like about this regime is that Kyle Shanahan said he wanted to make it a point to talk to everybody personally. He didn't want anyone being just, hey, you didn't make the team, give us a playbook and get out of here. That means a lot to me. I've never played at that level. Don't get me wrong. High school is the furthest of my experience. But maybe Croc can speak to it or not. I think it means a lot to these guys when a head coach wants to be the guy there to talk to you also before you just leave, just to give you some encouraging words and things like that, instead of just letting the GM or somebody else do it, or just turn it in. What it is, a business decision. It seemed like he wanted to make it a little bit more personal. I think that can go a long way with this team. It just shows you, like I said, a new direction of this team. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, definitely the culture.
I got cut several times by the Jets. Like once right before the first preseason game, then I got cut again after I got brought back, cut again after the last cuts, and then they brought me back, and then they cut me several times off practice squad. Like I was on and off practice squad. It sucks no matter who tells you. It didn't make a difference. I heard it from Rex Ryan, I heard it from Idzik, I heard it from some guy I don't even know who he was or what he did. But yeah, it sucks, regardless.
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of these guys' dreams are crashed today. And, some will get picked up, some won't, some will move on, some won't. But it sucks. It's part of the business, though. I don't know how it feels. You, Croc, I'm sure you know how it feels, just like you said. Mike, what's up?
One more thing. We do not need TJ Ward. I'm done.
Yeah, we do not need TJ Ward. I completely agree with that. I like the direction we're heading. We're building with young. I don't want to say young, incapable, because this team is capable. The scheme is going to fit these guys. The scheme is built around the players that we have. I think we're going to do pretty well. Team than last year. Better team than last year. Yeah, a lot better
to the 53 people, to the 53 players that made this roster, to the people that are going to be coming in, to the guys that put in their long, hard-fought hours trying to make this team, man. Nothing but Niners would like to salute you guys. We're looking forward to what's coming. I mean, I'm happy, man. I just wanted to say that. I know I said I was done, but I wanted to say that we really appreciate every single one of these guys that were putting their heart and soul out there. These guys are playing through injuries and everything. It's all evident, but it is what it is. We got to put together this 53-man team, man, and I'm looking forward to the season. I can't wait to see what the practice squad looks like. That's going to be another episode all on its own, talk about the practice squad that we assemble. So we're going to go from there. Nick, go ahead and take us home, baby.
Yeah, man. If you guys don't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button right down there in that left-hand corner. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, Nothing But 9ERS, as well as Facebook, Nothing But Niners, as well as Snapchat, Nothing But 9ERS. Make sure you listen to our podcast, SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. I think that's all of them. And best of all, our articles, nothingbutniners.com. Nothing but Niners, altogether.com. Guys, 53's out. September 10th can't come fast enough. Let's flex them. Above all else, stay faithful. We out.